Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the common normal-type Pokemon Patrat, the Scout Pokémon, and its relatively common evolution Watchog, the Lookout Pokémon. The members of the Patrat family are small mammals with bodily traits that are similar to several types of animals, such as the prairie dog, chipmunk, and meerkat. Patrat possesses small, rectangular body frame covered in brown fur, with lighter patches being observed in their belly and mouth regions. They have brown, three-fingered hands and dark brown, three-toed feet, with a brown tail that ends in a tuft of white fur and a small nose that is squashed and flat against their face. They further possess a massive buck tooth that sticks out of their mouths when closed, that is used to gnaw on hard objects for both feeding purposes and as their primary means of attack early in life. Their eyes are black, but are surrounded by layers of ocular material that form a red and yellow bullseye pattern, with black fur between them and around them wrapping halfway across the sides of their heads. Their evolved form, Watchog, have a similar body form and markings, though the lighter brown fur only covers the top part of their abdomen and their neck up to their mouth region, and their normal brown fur has been tinted a reddish shade of brown. Their black noses are more noticeable in this state, and their bodies are adorned with bright yellow stripes that look very similar to the pattern seen on modern safety vests. This is not a coincidence though, as the design humans use in places where they are native were in fact directly designed after these body patterns on Watchog. They still possess one massive buck tooth that they use for feeding and offense, and their eye region maintains its abnormal bullseye color pattern. The members of the Patrat family are not known for their incredible power or strength, something that makes them fairly easy prey to the life forms native to their habitats, and thus they tend to stick together in large numbers in the wild. These creatures live together in semi-large colonies among small caves and hollowed-out tree logs in forested environments and grasslands, and deploy a search and scout form of activity in order to keep all constituent members safe. At the beginning of every morning, these creatures will send out a few scouts in order to search the immediate area for potential predators or threats to the community. If no threats are detected, then the rest of the community will be informed, and they will go about their normal activity of gathering food for the colony. However, if something threatening is detected by any single member of the colony, the entire community will halt their practices and retreat into hiding for 4 to 5 hours before another series of scouts are sent out to reassess the situation and determine if it is safe to go back outside. Not all members will return to the colony's nest, however, as a few specially trained scouts are regularly and permanently deployed to the outer fringes of the colony's territory to ensure that no new predators enter into the area unannounced. These sentries can last for long periods of time without having to take a break and switch out with another Patrat or Watchog, as their cheek tissue is so elastic that they can store enough food in them to last them for days at a time, never having to leave their post to feed. These creatures are assisted heavily by their incredible eyesight, which allows them to detect predators from incredible distances away, including with nearly perfect night vision and the ability to learn the potent hypnosis technique relatively early on in their overall lifespan. And while Patrat might be somewhat skittish, both they and their evolved form can do their jobs quite well with these attributes, which also ties into them having Keen Eye as a base ability and Analytic as a hidden ability. In addition, Patrat can have Runaway as a base ability due to their skittish natures, while Watchog can have Illuminate instead as a result of them being able to make their bodies glow brightly to deter predators. Sadly though, these creatures are fairly weak as a whole, and even in the case of Watchog, they have little going for them, as all of their stats are below average for a fully evolved normal type Pokemon. Still, they do evolve relatively early on, and they get access to powerful attacks like Crunch at an early age, so they can still make at least a minor impact in the journeys of novice trainers. Patrat, while decent as sentries, are relatively inexperienced at their jobs, and this can show in the way that they behave towards potential threats. On the one hand, these creatures are good at keeping a quiet watch, as they never make a ruckus if they detect something that is alarming. Instead, they will raise their tails and stiffen them completely straight, with the hairs on the white tuft at the end standing straight out. This is a sign to other Patrat and Watchog that something dangerous is approaching and that action needs to be taken immediately. These creatures tend to lack the ability to independently survive without a sentry nearby, however, as they become extremely insecure about their safety if there isn't a lookout within view that they can use as a handy guide to their overall safety at any given moment in time. Unfortunately, as mentioned before, these creatures are very much inexperienced in their jobs, and while they are great at detecting things within their line of sight, they are often so focused on their jobs that they rarely turn their heads, preventing them from readily detecting anything that is directly behind them, and thus leaving them vulnerable to attack in this blind spot. As far as training them goes, while these creatures can be a bit skittish at first and reluctant to work with others if they don't know that they can trust them, they can become much more engaging and relaxed once they cease to see someone as a stranger, and can in turn make good companions for young trainers that are just starting out on their journey. While evolution does not necessarily grant enough extra power to Watchog to make them an outright threat on their own, it does allow them to learn several attacks and techniques that place them several steps above their pre-evolved form. For one thing, evolution allows them to better focus their abnormal hypnosis technique into a more dazzling display of manipulation by lighting up patches of luminescent matter in their skin where the yellow stripes are, causing them to glow brightly even in the daytime. This is usually used as a way of deterring predators, but in battle, it can help them utilize a unique variation of the confuse ray technique. Moreover, the development of their bodies allows them to get access to the rototiller technique and the low kick attack, and their demeanors become much more focused and analytic in mindset, causing them to lose access to the workup technique that Patrat can learn, and instead learn the psych-up technique in its place. As far as their skill as sentries goes, these creatures show a much greater level of intellect compared to Patrat, and are astute enough to be able to focus on their surroundings entirely, and not just what is in their immediate field of view. However, they are still somewhat skittish, and will rarely choose to attack others directly, instead providing a series of warnings to those that dare to approach them without their permission. If they detect something that seems threatening, these creatures will stiffen their tails straight up to alert others nearby, before making their eyes and the luminescent patches of skin on their bodies glow in order to blind and deter the motion of the target. If this does not work, they will proceed to spit the seeds of the fruits they store on their cheeks to show that they will attack if provoked further as a final warning, only finally going on the offensive if the second warning is not heeded. This can make them difficult to work with at first in battle, as they will only go on the offensive if they deem it to be absolutely necessary, but their tactical moves can still make them effective combatants early on, and can leave the opposition muddled and confused, giving them the chance to make something of their otherwise below average offenses. While they certainly might not be among the strongest of normal type Pokemon, the members of the Patrat family are interesting creatures that can definitely pull a few mesmerizing tricks when the opposition least expects it. They may be outclassed by other Pokemon in the lands they occupy, but for novice trainers that are just starting out, they can still be somewhat useful beasts that can give trainers an early introduction to the use of tactical ploys over brute offense, and the special flavor they can add to an otherwise straightforward battle. If you manage to come across one of these creatures in the wild, make sure to make it known that you are not a threat and are just looking for a friend or otherwise passing through. Such common courtesy might not be needed if you're a fast runner, but it's better to play it safe than risk getting pelted with a barrage of seeds to the face for trespassing where you don't belong. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description. With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.